Hi everyone, this is Jim Pugiamsis with the Pro on Go Spell Out on Success Season 1, Episode 1. And I'm super excited to have my first guest here. He's just going to sit there just for a few seconds because I need to do a little mini introduction, and then we're going to get this started because this is going to be an amazing show. So, who do I have here today? I have Manny Bains. He's an award-winning author of the book Master Your Universe, 11 Universal Rules for Success. He's also award-winning author of the book Switch to Working Online Living with Monthly Cash Flow. He's also a working actor from Toronto. Has appeared on TV shows such as Suits, Designated Survivor. He's also done work with top brands from Canadian Tire, Lowe's, and Cineplex. He also is a creator and director of documentary BreakFREE, which shows Canadians how to achieve time, money, freedom from themselves and following proven strategies adopted and inherited by wealthy families for generations. He's also directing several other projects as well. Manny is also founder of the Rising Star Movie Experience, which helps entrepreneurs explode their brand and create worldwide exposure for their business. Manny has also studied with top authorities and elite masters in the area of success and personal growth. He continues to surround himself with experts to take him to the next level. He has worked next level and continue his growth. He's passionate about waking people up and showing them the reality of getting to their results and how to change it with their results permanently. He's also worked with Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, and Les Brown, to name a few. And as we begin here, Manny, first of all, thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure and a privilege, Jim. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be a guest on your show.
Yeah, so we'll start with a little fun fact. So I have met Manny on the movie set. So we have donned our suits. I'm not wearing my suits today, but I do look good in a suit. So Manny and I met on the movie set with his brother as well. So that is where I started to learn more about what Manny had done. It's funny. His brother says, "You got to meet my brother." Pulled him out there and sat him down. And so it has been about a year or so. And like I said, I went through a list, and I'm so excited that Manny's here. So like I said, it was a long introduction, but the reason I did this, ladies and gentlemen, because Manny has a lot to share. So we're going to cover a few of them, and we're going to get started. So Manny, let's get started with the question. So the first question is we're in a new year. So how can we make a new year, a new you, wealthier? Yours to go.
Yeah, that's a great question, Jim. I think people think that because a new year has started, that all of a sudden their life is going to change. And I think that people have to realize that their comfort zone does not short-live motivation, right? And you have to understand, human beings, we live in our comfort zone. And just because the calendar year switched one day, you're not all of a sudden going to transform your life. We know that most people that set New Year's resolutions are already broken. If not, they didn't even set them. So you first have to say to yourself, okay, am I committed to making this year different to last year? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this year is going to go by so fast, Jim. I'm telling you, 365 days, it's going to go by so quick. So you have to really create some milestones for yourself, right? Say, in the next 3 months, where am I at, right? So maybe you have this surge that you want to change, or this motivation because it's the new year, which is great. But that motivation will go down because human beings, like I said, we live in our comfort zone, right? So you want to review in the next 2-3 months, okay, where am I? Am I closer to those goals? Is my motivation still there? Am I where I want to be? And if the motivation is not there, then that just means you have to, create a new approach. And in terms of making you wealthier, right? I mean, of course you want to set financial goals, but don't just measure financial goals in terms of wealth, right? Think of wealth in terms of, how happy am I? How happy are the people around me? My relationships, my physical wealth, my mental wealth. So don't just measure it in dollars, right? Look at the overall picture. I think that's very important.
Yeah, wonder if you can elaborate on one thing you said, if you don't mind, since we have a little bit of time. You mentioned about milestones. My mentors always said about milestones. Can you just go into a little bit about maybe a little bit of maybe a couple more minutes on that? I think it's important to say you're getting milestones to where you want to go. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It is. I think most people, when they set goals, they set these enormous goals like, oh my gosh, I want to do this, or I want to make $1 million, or I want to just, something that's way farther out from where they are, which is fine. It's good to have that dream, that vision. You have to know where you're going, but it may be far out from you, right? Let's say maybe you haven't even earned like $100,000, but you say, I want to be a millionaire. That's fine. Dream big, right? But that might be so far away from you right now. You're like, I don't even see that within the next year, right? I see that as a far out goal. Okay, so let's break it down. You have your big dream, your vision. Okay, let's break it down into, smaller goals. Okay, what's my small goals? Okay, maybe my small goal is to make half of that or a quarter of that. And then break that down even further. Okay, what are my definite chief aims I need to do? So for example, let's say if one of your goal is to be a New York Times top 10 best-selling author, let's say that's your dream, that's your goal. Maybe your short-term goal, your 1 to 2 year goal is to write and publish a book, right? Because that's on the way to becoming a New York Times top 10 best-selling author. Okay, so what is my definite chief aims? Stuff that I should do right away. Well, start writing the book, write a page. So when you break it down, it just seems easier to you, and these smaller chunks are able to kind of move forward in a quicker time. And you must review where you are. The only way you can judge where you are is to keep going back. Okay, so how far have I made? I said I was going to do this. Maybe I did 3 out of the 5 things, which is good. So I'm going to just keep making progress, and don't beat yourself up. As long as you're continually getting better every single day, never compare yourself to anybody else. You're in competition only with yourself. So as long as you're getting better every single day, that's all that matters.
All right. So as we peel this onion now, the next one is probably going to be a very interesting one that I want to ask is, what holds people back from having that wealthy mindset? Can you go into that? You got like 5 minutes. Go. This is I think a great question here.
I think before that, people have this idea that they need money to feel wealthy. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can have $0 in your bank account and still feel wealthy. What do I mean by that? You can get into the feeling of what it's like to have money now, right? You have a marvelous mind, one of the most amazing creations, right? You've been given, and you have the power to see yourself where you want to be, right? No other creatures have this ability, right? Human beings have this amazing ability to visualize and see ourselves where we want to be. In terms of what holds people back, it's conditioning, Jim. It's conditioning. Age of 0 to 7, we have been conditioned with rules, beliefs, values, ideas of how we should be, raised from our parents. All of these things we've downloaded into us at a very early age, and this program is now controlling our lives. And that's what holds people back, is that they are conditioned to think a certain way. I don't say human beings don't live their lives, they live their conditioning. We live what's being conditioned into us. But the amazing thing is you can change it, right? You
Yes,
have
you
the
can.
ability, and it's people. You need to callous over your victim's mentality, right?
So
Until
how do they do that? Can you go?
Yeah,
Can you get right
absolutely.
into it?
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing is stop feeling sorry for yourself, right? It doesn't. Whatever's happened to you has happened to you in the past, right?
Okay.
It's easy to blame someone. Oh my God, it's my parents, it's this, it's the economy. That's fine. But you're responsible for changing it now, and you can. So even just something as simple as literally just writing your goal down every day, something where you're telling your mind, you're putting it off of what you don't want, and you're putting it to what you do want. Very simple, right? We know the majority of people focus on what they don't want, and that's what they get. You get what you focus on, and it's become habitual, right? So even if you said, okay, for 5 minutes a day, I'm gonna sit down, and what I do every day is I write a gratitude list. I do 10 things every single day that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I do affirmations. I do affirmations.
Right.
Yeah.
And just by putting your focus and your attention on what you want, over and over and over. Jim, they say the majority of people spend 40% of their time they're thinking, worrying about things that can never happen.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Please.
I found $10 today. I was out for a walk, and I found $10.
He was doing the money affirmations.
I tell you, I lost my mind. I hope I felt that I had to say this. I don't want to keep the secret from you. I was like, this is so good. I found $10. I was dancing 360s. I'm like, oh, $10 sitting on the ground. nobody around. So money showed up, $10 on the ground for me today. $10 sitting right there.
And this was because you were doing, what were you doing in order to manifest that? Were you doing affirmations?
I do affirmations. I'll take 30 seconds. I do my affirmations. I have an abundance mentality. I have a millionaire mind. Money comes to me. I do it every day. And I don't find money all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's just say it doesn't come, all the time. But it's so ironic. I found it because I said I can't wait to tell Manny this. I found $10.
And we're doing a wealth mindset.
I know.
Amazing.
I didn't want to get. This is all about Manny, but I just felt that this was important. This was like so. All right.
But it's interesting what you said there, Jim, because you tuned into a different frequency about you changed your vibration. I don't know if it was talking about whatever it was.
Yeah.
You flipped your brain onto a different frequency and then started to attract that. And that's what people don't realize is that you can change
it's very powerful.
your outer world by changing your inner world.
Yes, very well said.
I think that once people realize is like you have total power and control over your life. Sometimes it's not always apparent, with everything that's going on and things like that. But you have to know that you create every single result in your life, good or bad.
Very powerful. Thanks for letting me share. I was like, that's such
amazing.
Yeah.
Jim's an amazing guy.
We're gonna get now really into this, ladies and gentlemen. This is what is a definition of money? So I know you got about 5 minutes for this one, but can you just lay it out for us? Because I think this is a powerful question.
Yeah, and that's a great question, Jim. I think there's so many different definitions of money, but here's one that really resonated with me, and it resonates with me because it's a spiritual definition of money. And I feel like when we're dealing with these universal spiritual principles, they're so powerful for people to know. So this is the best definition of money I've ever heard. Okay, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
We're ready.
Are you ready, guys? Are you ready? Okay, get a pen and write this down and remember this because this is so powerful, okay?
Okay.
Money is an agreement backed by confidence. Money is an agreement backed by confidence. Now, what do I mean when I say that, Jim? Money is an agreement backed by confidence.
What do you mean by that? As a follow-up?
Great. I knew you were going to say that. So think about this. You give people money because you're confident that they can fulfill a certain task for you, right? You have a cell phone, right? And you pay X amount to your cell phone provider because you feel that, if you pay them the $40, $50, $60, $70 a month, whatever, you're going to get good data, you're going to get good reception, you're clear service and all that. But what happens if all of a sudden, you got crappy data, your phone calls started dropping? You're going to lose confidence in that company, and eventually you'll switch to somebody else, right? And so money is an agreement backed by confidence. That's all it is. And when we say agreements, I learned this, and it's so powerful that the amount of income you make will be in direct proportion to the agreements you make and live up to. Now let's look at this for a second. Has there been a time in your life? I just want you to think, just to your audience in general. I want you to think back to a time where you made an agreement with somebody and you didn't come through. And this could have been anything. You told a kid, you told a friend you'd phone them back, you didn't. You maybe told someone you would do this for them. You submit this piece of work on time and you didn't. I think everybody has maybe encountered this at least once in their life. Now you didn't know that, but when you didn't fulfill your obligation, the person didn't tell you this, but you lost confidence in their mind, right? And they didn't tell you that. So if somebody breaks agreement with me and says, hey, Manny, I'm going to meet you at this time and doesn't, I'm going to say, okay, well, I've lost confidence in them. I'm not going to buy from them. I'm not going to trust them, right?
Right.
So all you need to do is you just need to make agreements and live up to them. Your income will go up. It's a fascinating thing. Very fascinating.
It is. I like that. So we're gonna get now into the last question. You may have a bonus question here, but again, to the last question here is, this is something that that I thought about hard because, ladies and gentlemen, Manny, has a lot and information, and we wanted to do this and make it impactful. But the last one is something that I felt that we want to build to. And the last one is why should people look into entrepreneurship? I started entrepreneurship, Manny, in 2003. And it was sort of, I don't know, accidental awakening. Okay, I'll use the word awakening. One of my friends, Murali Muthis, wrote a book called Awakening, and I had Awakening, and I look back now, 17, 18 years later, what has happened, to my life. And I want to be a little personal because like I said, I've got to know Manny a little bit over the last few years and all that. So this may be a very broad question, Manny, but I felt that, at least we get the process started. So why should we get into entrepreneurship? I know I took a little long to get to it, but the floor is yours.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, but I think why you should get into entrepreneurship is the freedom that it allows you, first of all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The ability to, follow your passion, do what you love to do, and impact lives. I think that, entrepreneurship is something that you're either passionate about or you're not, and you have to be passionate about what you do. But even if you're working full time, I advise everybody to have some side hustle they're doing, A, for tax purposes, but B, as an extra income. Like, you shouldn't, I think we've been conditioned that, our income should only come from one source. So get into entrepreneurship for A, an extra source of income, B, a tax deduction by having a little home-based business, and C, to do something that you're passionate about and impact lives. Because if you're not changing your life, you're not doing squat with your life. And your life come better by making other people's lives better. And you'll feel more alive, right? I think most people are just working the work, but then they're not really alive.
Yeah. Wow. That was a great answer. So since we have a little more time, I spoke earlier about your bio. So the last part of this podcast, I've decided that it is going to be a little self-promotional, but here's why I think it's so important. See, one of the more things about this podcast, and I was telling Manny this on our production call we had on Wednesday, is that Manny has a lot to say, and we can't fit it all in half an hour. There's no way. But what I decided to do is tell us a little bit about some of these books, because obviously what you've done with the books obviously is not did this document. Can you tell a little bit about this book? And I feel it is a self-promotion. And listen, I'm big about self-promotion, but reading this, because I read the bio last night, I read it today, I go, well, you know what? This is the best bio ever. So can you talk about the book? I know you said you had some stuff you wanted to give away, and I told him he can definitely do that. So in your closing, can you talk about your book and a little bit the media? Because I think it's a really valid thing, and I'm do that. So the one thing I told Manny, and he was agreeing with that, we're going to bring Manny back. Yeah, I felt that he opened up the sphere for us, that onion. So I'm going to invite him back later in the season. Middle of the season. He said he's interested in coming back. And we're going to go into another area. We're going to talk about another area, because obviously with the wealth information you have, Manny, there's no doubt that you have other strategies and that. So he's agreed to that. And I really appreciate that. So go ahead. Tell us about Attract Your Money. Tell us about the films and all that. It's all yours there.
Thank you so much. And I agree to come back because I love Jim. He's a great guy. That's what he stands
Come on.
He's got an amazing message, and I love what he's doing to trying to help people. So, I mean, I'm going to talk about one of my books. I can't talk about all of them because we are short for time. I'm going to talk about this book here, my latest one, Attract Money Faster, that I actually wrote.
I like the name. I like the name, Manny. I love the name. I've got to tell you that. And the subline too.
Thank you very much. And so this book is really it's going to show you secrets that I've personally used that will attract more money into your life. You can see Jim. It's already worked for Jim. He found $10 on the ground, and he's like, $10. He was just he didn't even really read the whole book. He just dabbled with me in some of the principles. So these are guaranteed things that if you apply, you will attract.
Guaranteed. I like guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Because they're using, rules of the universe, as I call them. And it's not just law of attraction, which I do talk about a little bit in the book, but it's how to change from a poverty mindset to a wealthy mindset. And you need $0 to do that. Also, it's how to raise your energy so you can attract money, because there's certain rules about money, and I wasn't aware of them. And once I became aware of them and applied them, that's when I started to see more money come into my life. Because as you know, money is energy, right? Everything is energy.
Yeah.
And once you are in alignment and are on the same vibration of money, that's when you will attract it. But there's certain simple things that you can do, and that's what I wanted to do in this book. You know, it's really easy, simple to read. It's nothing complicated, and you're gonna get amazing value from this book. And you know, right now it is on Amazon.
Okay.
But what I want to do for Jim's guests, because I really want you to get these principles, and I want to see you win. I want to see you win. Is that I want to give this book free to your audience, Jim.
Well, I appreciate that, and like I said, you know, I really appreciate that, man. He told me about this on Wednesday, and I really appreciate that. And I didn't ask him; he offered. I didn't beg or anything. You know, but at the end of the day, I really, first of all, thank you for being on the show. You know, for me, this show, The Pro on the Go, is something that you know, got delayed a little bit, and that's okay. You know, I started here today, but I wanted to tell people this. I told Manny this last night because things got delayed. I was busy, but you know what? And the passion I had, and I had some challenges last night with recording. I was telling Manny earlier, but you know what? You push through. So one of the things is you push through, and I want to tell a funny story about Manny. So we're on the movie sets here, and we have a lot of downtime. We have a lot of downtime on the movie sets, and we did a movie downtown. I remember we're at City Hall, and I don't know if Manny remembers this. So if he doesn't, but this truly happened. So me and Manny were sitting down with somebody else, and we're talking about with the money, and all of a sudden, you're not gonna believe this. People just walked away from us. It was me, Manny, and your brother. And all of a sudden, it was like a clearing. And I'm like, where'd everybody go? They could not handle, like, we're talking just about stuff and all that. And I don't remember this. It was at City Hall. We're having lunch, and people just went away. And I was like, we're just talking, you know, shop and all that, right? Because that's what, you know, we were
It's an uncomfortable subject for most people.
And I want to bring this up because this happened. I was shocked. I was like, we weren't pitching anything. We're just talking, you know, like, you know. And I remembered it last night. I go, man, I'm going to mention it because you will attract people who are like-minded. So, you know, I just remember last night. So, like I said, it was great show. 4 good questions. So, Manny, thank you for being the first guest. I appreciate everything you said. You shared some powerful insights regarding money, and I think that's important to how you're going to build that mindset. And I look forward to sharing this with the world here in the next few weeks. So, Manny, any last little bit of, I'm gonna throw one more thing at you. Any last little bit of quick tip or something? Because this has been a great conversation. I was so excited to do this. Can you throw one more in there? We've got a little over, but that's okay. Throw something out there.
Look, I just want to leave with this, is that if you're watching this right now, you have greatness within you. There's a hero inside of you that is waiting to come out. And once you unlock that hero, that hero will bring you your deepest desires. You will be fulfilled because you and me are the same, right? We may look different, may come from different backgrounds, but we're all the same. We want things in life. We want to achieve more. We want to be more. That's why you were created. And you have some desires that are just waiting to come out. I know, because they come to me. And the more that you suppress these desires, the more that you're going to live in regret. So I encourage you to go after your dreams, go after what you want. Life is too short to not pursue what you really want deep down in your hearts. And I'm here to help you to awaken that and to help you reach those goals. So please download my book, and I wish you all of the success. Get at me, add me on Facebook. And Jim, it's been a pleasure and an absolute privilege being able to serve you and your audience today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So this is Jim Pagiamsis, The Pro on the Go, Season 1, Episode 1. Look forward to bringing you more interesting professional entrepreneurs, putting the spotlight on them. Thank you very much, everybody.
Love you. Bye.